中身は一緒でスリムになった。
It's Wednesday again. And good evening to everybody out there. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let me hang on. All right. Forgive me, I'm a little phlegmy. I was not smart and ate a piece of cheese just before the chat. So working through that. But we've got tonight. We've got G Webs, who just came off the
big
technical
win.
quiz.
Big win.
You guys did win. I watched part of it.
It's still raw for a lot of people.
Yeah, you beat me by 25 points, 30 points.
On the technical quiz, they did the Stump the Chump, where you submit questions to the host and see if they can answer them. And apparently the host won. Also, DJ. How you doing, DJ?
I'm doing well, Foss. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here. And Iron Road.
Hello. I'm doing pretty good. I got some interesting news. I got one of the new MMP medals coming my way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to try out.
I'd like to. I really want to try one, just to see how it feels. If there's any great difference.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see who was out there so far tonight. You were out there. Skidmark is out there. And Sergeant Joe Smith. Wesley Foster. Mike McClune. X Adam 1. Good evening, everybody.
Adam.
He's saying he needs to re-enroll in Texas Law Shield. I have, in Washington, you cannot have carry insurance. But U.S. Law Shield, which is Texas Law Shield, they jump through all the hoops and I think are the only ones allowed because they're not technically insurance. It's like I'm not sure how they categorize it.
Lawyer on retainer, maybe?
Something like that. Haven't needed them and hope to God I never need them. But I have it just in case.
Yeah, after they changed that, I stopped carrying a gun and I just got better life insurance because that's just what they want us to do, right?
Better life insurance.
So let me grab a link here. Iron Road has made me aware of in Oregon they're trying to push a new initiative. I'm putting it out for vote. There's a link to the Ballotpedia, which has the measure Oregon Measure 114, and they're trying to implement a purchase permit. And so if you're in Oregon or have interest in Oregon, you can go check out what's in the bill. And in the very first line, the very first sentence, it says, what does it says? Something about the increase in gun purchases, which it's none of their business because it's legal to purchase guns. So X Adam had a little more than a peeping Tom. Somebody outside his kid's window.
Oof.
Yeah. I got you. But so we had a poll. Oh, let me share for the Let's Build a Rifle. The poll was for the handguard Chrome tab there. Oh, now I got it. There we go. So Nordic is winning 54%. Should we call it or should we let it go longer?
Yeah, that's going to win.
Yeah. So, which also, someone from the Gilded server has one, and I'm doing a swap to get it from him. So I was pretty sure Nordic. Once I saw the way the numbers were going, I was pretty sure Nordic would win. And then I thought, well, even if Nordic didn't win, then I'd give me an excuse to build another rifle. I've got this handguard and nothing to do with it. So, and I should get the trigger, the Timney trigger, probably tomorrow. Should show up in the mail. And so I just need a gas block and bolt carrier group. I ordered a muzzle device for it, one that will go with the Nordic. I think will go well with the Nordic. And so the next vote, just trying to think what else we need for it. That
Iron sights?
Oh, yeah. So I guess we'll go next vote will be whether iron sights or an optic. Yeah.
Or both.
Oh man.
Well,
Well, I mean, you do 4 options. They can be iron sights, optic, or you could do iron sights, scope, red dot, combo. I don't know.
well, if red dot wins, then it'll probably end up with some backup iron sights. If iron sights wins, we'll just go iron sights straight. If scope wins, it'll just be a scope.
Put carry handle on there.
No.
Put carry handle on there.
So I'll put that up tonight or tomorrow or sometime somewhat soon. And so we'll go to this week's poll. I'll switch over the comments, make that bigger there. There we go. Was favorite breakfast cereal. Frosted Flakes, Captain Crunch, Fruity Pebbles, and then the Count Chocula, Frankenberry, Blueberry. I just made one category. And then some kind of healthy garbage cereal. Frosted Flakes ran away with it, 42%. Fruity Pebbles. Oh, no, wait. Some kind of healthy garbage cereal was 21%. So number 2.
I feel like you got a lot of viewers from the retirement home or something.
Well, if you look at the metrics on my channel, it's 65 and up. So yeah, probably.
Is that why somebody called me an old timer last week?
No, they said okay, boomer.
So Fruity Pebbles 17%, Captain Crunch 15%, and then the Count Chocula 6%.
You're against Lucky Charms, from what I remember.
I'm only a 25-year-old, and I love Cheerios, man. Come on.
I'll eat Cheerios any day, but I like Lucky Charms if I'm eating sugar.
And I'll say again, you have to remember, I can only put so many things in the poll. There's always stuff that's going to have to get left out.
They need a poll within a poll.
Why'd you do it this way instead of a visual poll?
Because then you only get 4 choices.
Oh, okay.
If you have 5 if you use text, 4 if you use pictures. And I knew this one there'd be a lot of what about this, what about that, so I went for text only.
That way he has maximum options.
Yes, maximum effort.
Reese's peanut butter puffs.
Oh my God.
Peanut butter crunch is good too, but those are good.
Oh.
But we'll take a look at the comments for it. SWVA Marksman said Cracklin' Oat Bran. Sergeant Joe Smith said, never really ate cereal growing up. Breakfast was usually left over from the night before, pizza, otherwise eggs or toast. And G-Web said, if we were lucky, we could smash a couple of saltines in a single portion creamer cup. I allowed it. DJ said they're great. He's voting Frosted Flakes. And Charger said, how dare you not put Cinnamon Toast Crunch? And that's pretty good for Charger. There's no swear words in that sentence. So good job, Charger. Tactical Maverick said favorite cereal is eggs and bacon and eggs.
We ran out of quarters to put in the swear jar.
The small bearded Mad Sexy said you forgot Frosted Wheats, which I do like Frosted Mini Wheats. X Adam said, I love some Honey Bunches of Oats. Tim PCZ Man said, Bran Flakes to stay regular. Vanessa Kitty said, oatmeal. And Sharon Hinchcliffe said, Quisp.
What is that?
That's an old cereal, which I think you can still kind of find it, but they had quit making like in the 70s. I've never had it. Just looking at pictures of it, I think it's kind of similar texture to like Captain Crunch. Like kind of.
You could actually, looks like you could actually buy it on Amazon. Actually,
Oh, it's still around.
made by
Ships from China.
Quaker Oats.
It's got
Yeah.
melamine in it. I think it's like one of the retro cereals that they brought back, like the Count Chocula and Boo Berry, which disappeared and then they brought it back.
Was the Avatar like a little pink dude with the propeller on his head?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a little alien.
I've actually got counterfeit food off of Amazon. You ever done that?
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
What
I'm
is
not-
that like?
I'm not
Well,
surprised.
Tasted like shit, first of all. And then I examined the package. I was like, this looks like somebody printed it out. What the hell is this? I'm like, oh, yeah.
And
This
then
is
you
the thing
figure then you figure out it's just shredded newspaper that they just deep fried.
Yeah, it was bad.
There was try to remember exactly. I think it was I had bought a Zippo style lighter from a gas station because I wanted parts of it to fix a Zippo. And the cotton wadding was cut up. It was like bed sheets from a hospital. you could see printing on it, and you could tell it was that hospital style kind of bed sheets.
Well, it started off, I thought that was going to be like that you being funny, and then it's literal. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's serious.
So much for foreign aid, right?
Mike McLuhan was saying, Mama never bought me sugary cereals when I was a kid. Best I got was Honey Nut Cheerios.
Oh, at least
Same
you're not gonna have too much cancer when you die.
I never had any kind of the fancy brand cereals ever. Maybe Cheerios, maybe.
Cheerios is good.
I voted Frosted Flakes, and I grew up without sugared cereals as well. As a matter of fact, we were not a breakfast food family. And the reason I chose Frosted Flakes and still choose them is because spending a few summers with my grandfather when I was in elementary school, that was his jam with, of all things, frozen raspberries. And so every time I have the opportunity to do that, I will. I substitute fresh now, but it's always great to think about that. Go ahead.
You ever put Frosted Flakes on ice cream?
No, but I've done the fried ice cream, the Mexican fried ice cream thing, and that's pretty damn close.
Let me say a quick hello to the goddamn bacon. I still keep sugary cereal in the house as kind of a snack. I don't eat it as a breakfast You know, it's just when I want something kind of sweet, I'll have some cereal, Frosted Flakes. My favorite cereal is Rice Chex.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite to pull out of the Chex Mix. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, and I like corn Chex also, and sometimes I'll mix them.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you're going to do that, have you ever just mixed a bunch into like essentially Chex Mix, except with more stuff, or the stuff you like only?
Yeah, I don't. I like Chex Mix, and I would make it, but my wife doesn't like me to make it because I'll sit there and I'll eat all of it.
Get a
It's like
bag of
me.
Ziplocs and make a bunch, and then portion it, and then you know what I'm saying, put it in the refrigerator or whatever.
Like me when it comes to Reese's peanut butter puffs.
Reese's peanut butter cups, there's like halfway like eating a peanut butter sandwich, which is good for you. So like 50%
Well, I
of a
mean-
peanut butter cup is good for you. It's healthy.
Well, I mean the
Which-
cereal is more or less. But
Same way, same thing. Milk doesn't count. So the chocolate part is outweighed by the peanut part, which is good for you. So it's sort of like not even eating calories if you eat a peanut butter cup.
shitload
Honcho
of
Fett.
sugar though.
Honcho Fett said, Honey Nut Cheerios is a staple. Honey Nut Bunches of Oats with almonds, 2. Vanessa Kitty said, Wheat Chex is the only Chex I buy, and Vanessa Kitty is old.
That's gluten checks.
Have you guys had Honey O's?
Yes, probably.
No.
It's like Cheerios with a bunch of, it's like an everything bagel of Cheerios with honey instead of salt.
And they're like twice the size of a Cheerio.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that part. So maybe I haven't ate them.
Yeah, this is them.
Oh,
So,
they have it in the middle. Yeah. I think
and they
I've
have
eaten,
like,
one of those little boxes one time.
yeah, good
So,
things in the middle. I don't know
Cheerios with
what exactly
tumors.
they are.
I've eaten most of my cereals as like the little tiny boxes at a hotel for free, or like it's some kind of conference and it's free. So I'm like, well, I guess it's free. I'm trying that kind of cereal now, you know, and I never have to buy it.
It's kind of like a jumbo Cheerio with honey bunches of oats inside of it. And it'll take the roof of your mouth right off, like within 3 bites. It's insane. I think they coat it with like the same stuff you put under a car.
Almost like Captain Crunch will put a film on your mouth like there's nothing that Colgate will get through.
Well, Captain Crunch will tear the hell out of the roof of your mouth too. Like a lot of those damn things will. I don't know.
Yep.
I
The
can't.
trick
I
is
can't.
to let it soak longer in water or in milk.
No, then it gets soggy. It's not crunchy.
With Captain Crunch and Peanut Butter Crunch, if you get into that perfect area, it's kind of getting there, but it isn't soggy yet. But it doesn't kill your mouth.
Or you just man up and
Whatever.
take it.
Maybe they should make roof Kevlar or mouth roof Kevlar that you put in when you're eating it.
See, that's that. Never mind. So goddamn bacon. Honestly, I haven't had cereal in forever. Americans are finally waking up to the fact that we're having dessert for breakfast. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't think pancakes and syrup. Anybody ever had any doubt? I mean, it's called pancakes.
Yeah, if you see British people complain about American breakfasts, that's one
Yeah,
of the
they,
things
like-
they'll complain about.
They
They're
eat,
just jealous.
They eat like baked beans, toast, and some spinach and sauerkraut, and call that breakfast. And a sardine.
I've told the story before. The first time my wife made pancakes for me, she made like 2 silver dollar pancakes with a side of broccoli.
Oh wow.
The Japanese eat salad. The breakfast will have a little salad with it. And so I ate the pancakes and I said, "Oh, these are pretty good. Can I have some more?" And she was shocked that those 2 weren't enough.
Cultural differences like that, I actually enjoy English breakfast. So your wife can cook, put a salad next to my flapjacks, anytime I visit. Like English breakfast seems like a total departure, but when I was there, I couldn't get enough. And the thing that was the oddest thing on the plate for me wasn't the baked beans, because I kind of knew about that going in. It was mushrooms. I'd never really thought outside of a Denver omelet about having, and I don't do omelets, right? So I've never really thought about having mushrooms, one of my favorite things to eat, as part of my breakfast until then.
What do they do? Just chop them up and fry them, like, and then put them on the thing like a bunch of fried mushrooms?
Yeah. Of course, everybody's home and restaurant are going to prepare it slightly differently, but more like bigger chunks than we're used to. We're used to maybe in the States having more sliced white button mushrooms, and these can be like any variety and kind of chunked up. So they're more, just a meatier.
Yep, that's all. I'm done with that.
Now the grilled tomatoes that are part of it, y'all can have those, because I'm not going to do those. I'll take the mushrooms.
Vanessa Kitty said puffed wheat. It's a cereal. You don't really see it a lot anymore. The puffed wheat cereal.
I used to like that one. My grandpa ate that a lot.
Well, Sugar Smacks is puffed wheat with the sugar coating on it.
There's a
right?
performance too.
What?
Yeah.
That's what she was saying is we would pretend puffed wheat was the super sugar crisp.
It's fairly sweet. It's not just super sweet, but even when you're eating a rice, it's got a lot of sugar in the carbohydrate, so it's sweet. It's just not super sweet. Plus, it's in milk, and milk is nothing but liquid sugar, essentially, some proteins.
Well, it's fat.
Yeah, some fats, I suppose. But most people get non-fat. I mean, I guess some people eat whole milk, but not everybody anymore.
There still are a lot of people that buy whole milk.
Actually, yeah, I guess I am assuming that. But
It's
because everybody I know drinks barely any milk, so I have no idea what somebody with growing kids are feeding their kids. They're probably giving them whole milk, huh?
from what I've seen, it tends to be. Now, I am not making judgments. I'm just, saying an observation. It's the poorer people that like the whole milks, and then we'll also buy a gallon of chocolate milk to go with it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, y'all, with like different. Here's the thing with the differences in those dairies, though. Whole milk is, guess what, 3%.
Yeah.
So people who like kind of raise, turn their nose up at like 3% as being like way choked with butter fat or something like that. I mean, get real. But I do get the different. To me, the biggest distinction is between like skim and 2%. Like skim, I just cannot do. There's just like that's reprehensible shit.
It's just
So you're
watery.
saying there's skim milk, there's 1%, there's 2%, and there's whole percent is 3%, or I mean whole milk is 3%.
Yeah, whole is 3. 2% is of itself. Now skim, as I remember, I don't drink it.
Less than
Yeah,
1%,
that's
right. It's less than 1%.
is less than 1%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that means that even whole milk, that's an exponential curve. Then there's no way you go from whole milk to skim in 4 steps. That's I'm just saying that like that's a lot of. I haven't had 1%. I don't think. Is that what they gave us at school? Maybe. I don't remember. I know there is a 1%, but I don't remember. But I know 2%. Some people will not even drink it, right?
Yeah. In school, that's what we always had, 2%.
We did as well.
Here's a scary story. Last time I had cereal, I used heavy cream.
All right.
Intentionally, or because that's all that was there.
I didn't have any milk. I was like,
You didn't put water in it. You just went straight heavy cream.
straight heavy cream. I was like, let's see what this does.
What did it do? Did you have to clutch your heart as you were like swallowing, finishing the bowl?
It probably took a month off me, but yeah, it was good.
We gotta say, was it worth it? For sure.
Fat is flavor.
If I don't have milk, I'll just eat it dry. The times where you pull a bowl of cereal and then you don't know that you're out of milk. It's either dump it back in the box or just start shoving handfuls down your throat.
I'm not going to eat it like I'm timed, but I'll eat cereal like as a snack, whatever, like chips or like Chex Mix or something. Like I'll eat cereal like that for sure, handful at a time. But I'm not going to pour a bowl and eat a handful. Eat it dry, a bowl at a time.
The way I looked at it was it was as healthy as a bowl of ice cream. It's the same thing.
No, more probably because ice cream would have had a shit ton of sugar in it in the milk.
Well, the cereal had sugar.
Yeah, but I'm saying because I've put sugar or cereal on ice cream before. You never took ice cream and put maybe splash some milk on the ice cream, and then put a shit ton of cereal on that or whatever kind you want, and you
That's
let
crazy
that
talk,
go for a
Sean.
little- let that go for a little bit, and then it turns into essentially a milkshake in a bowl.
What kind of
Ooh,
cereal though?
milkshakes.
That stuff's got to stand up to all of that.
It depends. That's the fun. So when I was a little kid, it'd be like, here you go. You got vanilla ice cream and cereal. Go fuck yourself. That's all you get. So, and then milk, maybe celery or something. So, it's like, well, I guess I'm going to mix things up here. So, you know how nowadays at Sonic, they're like, hey, we're going to take a Butterfinger and smash it into a milkshake. I've been doing that since I was a little kid. You just take a ice cream, you put a little splash of milk on there, and after a while, it'll turn into a milkshake. And then you put whatever cereal you want in there. It'll make Cheerios good.
X Adam 1 said Apple Jacks and Fruit Loops are a favorite of mine, but we can't ignore Vitamin King or King Vitamin, which I have never seen King Vitamin. First pours, nothing like tearing the roof of your mouth on the jagged little stars.
Is that one of the ones that comes in a giant bag at some regions or whatever? The regional bagged cereals. Man, I go for generic Lucky Charms whenever I can. And I know why people hate Lucky Charms. If you've ate a generic bad Lucky Charms, you hate Lucky Charms, right?
Yeah,
I think it's a box cereal. Sorry, boss. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, I had never heard of it, so I wasn't sure if it was somewhere in between the generic and a store brand. But yeah, the bag cereals, generic, they're close but not quite there. Flavor.
I don't eat the brands, the name brands, when they're free in those little tiny boxes. I don't think I've ever really bought, except for like if it's $1 or something and I want to try like some weird peanut butter crunch or something that they come up with. But I almost always, if I'm buying cereal, I'm buying those bags. It's a way better deal. Way better deal. Same cereal.
Vanessa Kitty said that she makes butter from Dairy Farm heavy cream. I've done that with buttermilk with my son, to show him how to make butter. Just put it in a little jar and you shake it. I tried one time, I was curious. I put a little buttermilk in a jar and then taped it to my Sawzall. And just to see if that there was enough vibration there, and it didn't quite work. Is taping it to the end, there's too much weight to control the Sawzall. Once it gets that weight moving, it's really hard to control.
But so if this helps you, if you want to try it, so imagine a picture frame or a shadow box. So you take a frame of wood, right? And then this guy took, I can't remember what kind of foam, but he took some kind of foam and he had cut out the shape he needed for his Sawzall to be in there. And then he had attached to, I'm assuming, a old blade that he probably cut the blade part off. So it's just the ink of the blade. He probably riveted like a metal cup to that. And I think there was some sort of, it was some sort of a clamp. So he had sort of a hose clamp with a thing that made it easier to tighten and whatever. But anyway, his deal was to shake up cans of paint. And he was able to put in a standard sized can of paint into this thing, and it was mounted to the wall of his shed or his shop. And he would just flip a switch on the wall, and this was a dedicated Sawzall that was in there. And it would shake the shit out of that thing. And it was at a 45 or maybe 30, 60 degree, I don't know, a little bit. It was about 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
It wasn't up and down, and it wasn't sideways. It was about 2 o'clock. So I've seen it done with a can of paint. So you should be able to do it with something way smaller if you had it like attached to the wall potentially. And then he had it in like foam. So it kind of was not just out in the open, if that makes sense. It was kind of, cut out in the foam. And the foam was about 6 inches from the wall. So it was like in that cavity that it was all happening. And it wasn't like blue or pink or something, like no paint can that exploded in there doing it. But you could put a can of spray paint in there, and it would be, consistently shook in moments. It was really neat.
Honcho Fett said King Vitamin is the poor person's Captain Crunch. Going back. Oh, Mike McLuhan brings up the Life cereal. I like Life cereal. I get tired of it because it can get kind of heavy, especially once it soaks up all the milk.
I don't remember Life, so I don't know if I've had that one. Did they make it in little boxes?
I don't know.
I don't remember eating Life, so I don't think I have. It was sort of a big thing, like a size of like a cookie or something. It was like kind of a big piece of cereal.
No, that's the that's more the like God, what the hell is it called?
What was the one with the kids in a fort? And then Saturdays they'd talk about how they were going to go. Oh, the
Honeycombs. Yeah,
Is that
the
how they were
Hey
gonna-
Mikey, he likes it. Is Life. He won't eat it. He doesn't like anything.
So what does life even taste like? What's its flavor profile supposed to be?
I don't know what to compare it to. Because it's
Isn't
kind
it
of
made out of rice?
I don't know. It's kind of like shredded wheat, like a little, but smaller with a sugar coating.
Oh,
It's like,
so it's like
kind of like a
shredded
frosted
wheat.
mini wheat?
Yeah, not quite.
Okay.
But along that vein. And the sugar it's like sugar crystals, not a sugar glaze.
It's made out of oats, soy protein, and sugar.
Do you have a picture of it?
No, I'm just reading the
Okay.
Wikipedia.
Bring a picture.
Yeah, I'm grabbing one.
I knew people that worked in the food development, like laboratories, I don't know what you call it, like development, like people creating foods and stuff. It was mostly for canned foods, from what I understand, but I don't think it was that different in the different industries. And it was like factory work. Oh, wait a minute. I think I have eaten them before. Yeah, they're like, there's like an inside, right? Like there's an envelope for the milk to go into inside of there when you eat it.
Yep.
Yep, I've eaten these before. And I can take them or leave them. You know what these look like? Kind of like a golden graham mixed with shredded wheat.
Well, they sort of like a
Golden
Czech
grams.
cereal too. Golden grams,
Yeah.
yep, rip on that.
Man, golden grams was one of those ones I would always trade off. I didn't love it so much that other people went nuts for it, and I give cinnamon away anytime. I care less about cinnamon. So
I've never
one that I always
had them.
trade off. You've never had golden grams?
No.
They're unique. They're literally French toast in a cereal somehow.
I can remember the jingle pretty well.
Oh, those
Golden honey,
grams.
just a touch. Grams golden wheat.
I wonder if those things were regional. If anybody's ever done any looking at if those things were like, if it was just distributed the whole country and they just said what's up, or did they figure, well, we grow the wheat over here, let's market the wheat to these kids, and we grow the corn over here, let's market the corn to these kids, so we don't have to move it all over the place.
Oh, we had them. They were around here. I just
I
never
know we
had
all
it.
had all of them, but I'm just wondering, like, if they marketed the corn to the corn belt and the wheat to the wheat belt, just, or if they didn't bother and they just said, fuck it, let's just move them all everywhere. Because they didn't really, I don't know. I think they did make them. They didn't necessarily take all the wheat and move it to the other side of the country to make it into cereal. They probably had the factories near the resource, right?
I hope to hell we didn't just get the corn cereals. Because it gets boring being from Nebraska and getting everything made out of corn.
Well, I know we had everything. I'm just wondering if there was
Right.
any intentional marketing to make it so that they didn't have to move stuff around. Because I know a lot of that was just industrial. When you look at, I was just watching the thing about the toys, the Star Wars toys, and how that was kind of half deliberate and half circumstance. But as soon as it happened, it created an industry of making marketing to our generation, those toys of all the different kinds, G.I. Joes and everything else. And cereals were a big part of that. And like at the same time, so, you know, if somebody's all butthurt that somebody just made $1 million off of He-Man and somebody else made $1 million off of G.I. Joe, you know, they're like, well, damn, we got our Count Chocula over here. You know, all we got to do is crank that up in the same way. I'm wondering how big like I say, how much effort there was, or if they just said, yeah, screw it, the kids are kids, they're going to buy whatever. I know the Happy Meals was massive. That changed advertising. And were Happy Meals after cereal? I
Oh,
can't
wait.
even
Wait. Yeah, Happy Meals. I don't remember them even being. Those weren't a thing when we were
Happy
kids.
Meals happened for us in like the early 70s. Happy Meals happened, or maybe the 80s. But I think cereal's been around way before that. Yeah, cereal was marketed to our parents and shit. But being marketed
79.
to our parents versus being heavily marketed to make the most profit is a whole different type of corporate marketing or corporate advertising.
The Happy Meal started in 79.
Oh,
Okay.
big.
Happy Meals
Very-
are interesting. There's a couple of books written on this kind of stuff, and it's like, I used to think it was one of the most evil marketing things ever because it was such a deliberate thing, and it caught on and nobody questioned it, and they just wailed on us as far as like warping us to eat them things. But then there was way more heinous shit out there, or as heinous, I guess it depends.
Well, before Happy Meals, there's still child marketing going on. You know, all the
Well,
characters kind of were still there. Go ahead.
No,
That goes back to the, you know, what, late 50s, early 60s. That's, you know, Happy Duty time. And
oh no, yeah, you're right. Well, the first marketing, I believe, was the Barbie doll and some TV show. And once they figured that out, but I mean, Happy Meals took it to another level where they figured out how to make us tell our parents we're going to McDonald's, or to use McDonald's as our reward for everything. And that was just a whole. And the main thing was that it was like, what are we going to do? Like, we're not making money like we used to. Oh, I know. Let's do this. It was like such an intentional thing. That's why it was such a big deal. And it was sort of when they, you know, it was, I don't know. I haven't really have to get all into it, but you know, I think it was large enough that it made everybody go, "Wow, that made such a influence on the industry and made so much money. Should they be able to market to kids like that?" And it kind of shined a light on it, and everybody started to question: should there be restrictions on what you can market to kids, directly to kids at least?
well, that's what killed the Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, exactly. But there was more than just Happy Meals. But the Happy Meals was a big chunk of what instigated it, or was like the big straw that kind of splashed into that and made everybody think about it.
Yeah, when the pushback against the cartoons because they were just to sell toys, and that's
Yeah, I gotta say, G.I. Joe cartoons were really like one of the worst examples of that. Worst and best examples, right? I mean, my little brother was like so into them, and they were just too young for me. But I remember every damn Saturday him being super enthusiastic about it. And that, Boss, I think I've heard you talk about a couple of episodes of G.I. Joe, Real American Hero cartoon as well.
there's a live YouTube channel that plays G.I. Joe. It's 24 hours.
I've seen that kind of stuff too, like just one after another marathons
Yeah.
on how they're able to do it. What about He-Man though? I like G.I. Joe. I never liked He-Man, and that He-Man was like crazy influential on a ton
It's
of.
kind of neck and neck, isn't it? Just about mid
No, I
80s,
think,
early
I
80s.
think it's
Yeah.
different. I think
Okay.
G.I. Joe's is me, and I think He-Man would be like my little brother. So I don't know what the hell generations that is, but you know what I mean. Like it's off by just a hair to be like I wouldn't touch He-Man, but G.I. Joe kept going. But like I know, like again, a couple of grades younger than me, those kids were way into G.I. Joe or He-Man. They couldn't.
I liked them both. I had a few G.I. Joe, but I didn't have any He-Man stuff.
Yeah, exactly. GI Joes were like right at the end of Star Wars figures. Like I was way too old for Star Wars figures, but then they came out with GI Joe, and I was like, well, fuckers, what the fuck? Now you're gonna make GI Joe? Like you make Star Wars figures with army dudes, and they were super cool at the beginning. I don't know if you remember, but Star Wars figures were all stiff legged and nothing. They were just stiff.
Yeah, the GI Joe, had the kung fu. Eventually came out with the kung fu grip.
No, not at his knees and elbows, and motorcycles and jeeps and shit that they fit in. So instead of having anyway, so it's just like, oh man, these are cool. So obviously they kept going. They really dialed it in when they made GI Joe the size of Star Wars figures.
Yeah, I had the laser soldier. Well, I don't know what his name was, but he had a laser rifle powered by a backpack. I had Ranger.
Oh wait, are you talking about the ones that are the size of Star Trek figures? Or are you talking about the later ones from the 90s, the Star Wars figure size?
The Star Wars figure size. That
okay.
Little,
because back
little
in the olden days, do you know the Star Trek?
Oh yeah, the tall, the original GI Joes.
Yeah, I had a couple of large
with the cloth clothing.
Nope. In the middle, there was the giant ones that are the size of Barbies, and then that was like our parents. But then when I was very little, and when the robots were a thing, you could buy Spider-Man and Star Trek and
like the Migos, the Mego ones that were like 8 or 10 inches, or like 8 inches tall, 7 inches.
Yeah, maybe something like that. They'd have a squishy head made out of rubber, and then you'd put clothes on them like a Barbie doll. So it was like, man, these are kind of like Barbie dolls, but you could get Star Trek and shit. So I had quite a few of those actually. The only thing good about them is you could change the clothes out and stuff. But this was, I guess, before Star Wars figures, right? Before they had figured out Star Wars figures is the size.
Yes, I remember it for sure.
But anyhow, in that era, and that's when GI Joe Kung Fu Grip happened. At least I remember that being the GI Joe that had like a rubber hand that could hold out whatever gun you gave them, because it was a rubber hand instead of like at the time it was Fisher Price people or Micronauts and shit that had like plastic hands. So rubber hands could hold whatever gear you gave them, or like you could hold a rope or something cool. But then GI Joe had a laser guy who wore this stupid jumpsuit thing, and he had like a rubber metal looking thing that had a light on it and a AA battery on the back, or a AAA battery on the backpack, and you'd push the button and his chest light would light up, and that was supposed to be the laser guy. So that's why I was wondering if you meant that GI Joe laser guy. Like
yeah,
that.
no.
Okay.
No, because let me show. This is this size. So I had him.
Oh yeah, I definitely had this guy. Oh wait, did I? He had a knife. Yeah, I think I had this guy.
And I had the Baroness, and whoever came with the Beretta submachine gun, the one with the two handles and the magazines in the middle. Whoever had that one, I had that character, and I can't remember who it was, but I only had a few of them.
I pretty much had Snake Eyes, and I think I had the Marine guy, and then I would just use my Star Wars figures because I wasn't really playing with them.
Ozzy Osbourne. So Johnny Quest was way better. I did, I watched Johnny Quest reruns. I did like that. And if you like Johnny Quest, you probably would like the Venture Brothers. It's a spoof of Johnny Quest that was on I forget what channel it was on.
Is it good, or is it like just being sarcastic all the time and snarky?
The Venture Brothers?
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, okay. It's taking it seriously. It's not just a weird lampoon of it.
Well, it's a lampoon, but it's done really well. So you get you can definitely see correlation between what characters are there and what cartoons they came from. But it's funny, and it's a little bit of member berries because you're seeing all the old cartoons. But it's not like Harvey Birdman lampoony.
Harvey Birdman's awesome.
The attorney at law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not stick cartoon like that.
Doing a bracket on that makes me think of like that guy is a ripoff of the Blue whatever, right? Like that was Hanna-Barbera, I think. But that's different than Hong Kong Phooey, and that would be different than some of the other ones. So maybe do a bracket of the I don't know what you call it, the cartoon, the animation studios, maybe. Like I don't know what they're called, but like the different types of
Like
cartoons we had to choose from.
Hanna-Barbera versus Looney Tunes versus
Looney Tunes, yeah. And I don't know what G.I. Joe was, but that one, or no, Coloration or some shit, maybe something like that.
Speaking of brackets,
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
We can do brackets on the tactical quiz. I'm not as scared of doing brackets. Some people have.
Mike McLuhan said, when I got older, I built model cars, trucks, planes, and stuff. I did. I liked building model cars and some jets. My great grandmother got me a subscription to Model of the Month, so they would send airplane models every month and put them together. But I don't have a lot of patience. I'll be very focused and patient to begin with, and then once I feel it's taking too long, then I'll start taking shortcuts to get the project done.
I can relate to that, and specifically as it applies to building airplane models. My dad was one of those like really meticulous, slow, fine builders. When he finished, it's just like he takes pictures and does the whole thing. But yeah, glue runs, he would make me sand them out, sort of thing. So by the time I was building them by myself, yeah, it was that bad, man. But by the time I was building some of them myself, I actually went back to the ones that I enjoyed most the first, and there was the snap together ones like Monogram.
Yeah.
You'd have the chassis, you'd have the shell, you'd have an interior, a couple of pieces and a can of spray paint or some tester and some brushes, and you could have a really good time.
Yeah, I had a really cool Battleship Missouri model. It was probably 2 foot long, and I didn't look at the instructions, which I really should have, because it was motorized, and it wasn't remote control, but it had an engine, a little motor in it, and I did not realize that the turrets turned when you turn the motor on. So, and I had glued the turrets down.
Whoops.
how'd that end up?
Well, it was not waterproof completely, so I couldn't really float it. But it was pretty cool, nonetheless.
I'm just imagining the little motor straining against those turrets that are locked to the deck, and pretty soon the smoke's rising, and it's just like a powder magazine fire or something like that. Wow.
There we go. Goddamn Bacon said, speaking of Transformers, did anyone have the Beast Wars ones? I didn't have any Transformers.
I did.
I had a GoBot. I had the motorcycle. I can't remember if it was Kill Cycle. But I didn't have any Transformers. And now you can get the cool ones, which will transform on their own, but they're really expensive.
Which ones were the Transformers where they were like part metal, part plastic, and they were dinosaurs?
Oh, I don't remember. I know what you're talking about.
And they weren't like they weren't like Matchbox size. They were maybe 5-inch or so. And like as I recall, like maybe the hands or the heads were plastic, but a good portion of them were die-cast parts. Oh, that's fancy. That's automatic?
No, that's one of the Beast Wars Transformers.
Man, you guys got all the cool toys. That stuff was boring as hell in the 70s, but we did have Evel Knievel. And the Bionic Man.
I remember getting some of the plastic ones. The more modern ones, like I had a couple of the Decepticons. One was Crumple Zone, and then there was my cousin. On the other hand, he has the real cool one. Like he had the original. He has a Optimus Prime Transformer, and this one's worth some actual money. Like it's made of like actual metal, and this was where Optimus transformed into the original flat-nosed Peterbilt. And there was a lot of craftsmanship that went into this particular transform.
So here's one of
about the movies. The toys when they created Transformers, and they come from a bunch of toys that were already in Japan. So there's some toys from Japan that are crazy elaborate, made out of metal and everything, that are basically Transformers before they put the Transformer paint job on them, from what I understand.
Here's the self-transforming Transformer.
Does it use batteries?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of coin do you have to throw on one of those for Johnny for Christmas?
I don't remember. I looked him up after I came across a video of
Can
him.
you play with it after it's like that? I mean, is it all going to break if you touch it now?
Well, I don't think you can really
It's
play
a-
with it because it moves around on its own like that.
Yeah,
Really?
look at it. It's actually moving.
I wouldn't.
We'd have that thing broken in sub 5 minutes, man. No way.
Cats love this.
Holy, it just saluted and shit.
No, it's fighting.
Wow, it goes through a whole pose down. What?
That's
Indian
kinda
undercover
creepy.
for sure.
They
Yeah,
have
it is.
robots that have done this for a long time. They just made it fold up also.
You
What was
put
that?
you put a clown suit on that thing, stick it in the corner of your little brother's bedroom, and actuate it and walk away. Nightmare City.
What was that movie where like the toy soldiers came alive? Was it called Toy Soldiers?
Toy soldiers.
Can you
Or-
imagine that with Transformers?
Yeah, the freaking. I can't remember.
I don't want to get a copyright strike.
I remember the name of those. I can't remember the name. Something Knights or whatever.
Are you not saying the price, or do you not know the price? Because I just
I don't remember the price.
got it right here. So does anybody want to guess on what the price is according to the article I just found from last year? So it's the price from last year.
$249.94.
More than that.
99.
The price without going over. DJ says $299.
I'm guessing 99.
$99?
No. You're upwards of like $350.
You're saying $350? Iron Road?
Or something like that.
Yep. Dances
Something like-
around 25 voice commands. 27 servo motors, 20 or 60 microchips, and a something battery.
Oh, Jesus.
So tell me all the
fantastic.
features of this thing again. It's self-transforming. What's it made
Yep.
of? Is it plastic, metal, all metal
It
construction?
looks plastic to me. I don't know if it says on.
Okay. And it's self-transforming, and it's got how many?
Voice commands,
commands?
21 voice commands, 27 servo motors, 60 microchips, and a 2,000 something battery. 19 inches tall when in its Autobot mode.
To be honest, that
So when it was
sounds
dancing
like
around, it was because she said, Optimus, say hello. And then it does some little dance. And then she says, roll out. And then it'll turn its fur back into a truck.
Yeah, that sounds something that's gonna cost at least. I'm honestly gonna throw a $500 sticker price.
I'm
on it.
gonna
Everybody-
change mine to $2,000.
Okay, everybody's putting in different prices. So no one's cheating, I hope. So we've got $2,000.
I already looked it up.
Sergeant
I
Joe
thought we were
Smith.
set.
We've got Sergeant Joe Smith and Foss saying 200. What was your original, Baron?
99.
And then we got Adam with $499, Honcho at $739.
Here's
Ian
the kill
Rose.
cycle that I was talking about.
And then what was DJ's? 300.
I said like 150 or 250. I can't remember.
Mike is saying 2,900. Bacon is saying 762, and then Honcho saying 739. According to the one thing I'm looking at, 699 is what they're gonna sell it for when they're able to make it. So $700 ish. So that's pretty interesting. I would have. There's no possible way. I don't give a shit if I'm a millionaire. I'm not paying $700 for a little thing that wiggles around. I don't care if I'm a millionaire because there's no way I'm getting to be a millionaire buying $700 worth.
I guarantee you, if Matt had the money, he might buy one of those.
Never enough
that's a toy for big kids.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a toy for big kids.
It's
rich
it's on
families.
Amazon right now for $9.99.
okay. For real, not just like it's gonna, because this was a year.
Yeah, no, you can buy it right now.
For $1,000.
Well, I mean, that girl had it in that video. It obviously exists.
Yeah, I forgot to show you this. When I was putting away my
$1,000.
when I was putting away my Godzilla stuff, I found my little Shogun Warrior.
Oh, nice. Is that posable or is that just molded in that shape?
Yeah, it's
go
just
full size.
molded.
Or I'm sorry, go full screen if you don't mind.
So, how many people remember a time before Star Wars figures and before Fisher Price when that's all we had was little Supermen and Batmans and shit that were molded into hard rubber and then painted like that? They were sort of the Matchbox car version of figures. This is when I was really.
This was from a vending machine in Japan. My wife brought it back for me.
Oh, so that's a modern vending machine thing.
Yeah, that
Vending
and then she
machines
bought
are
me
a
some
cool thing.
stormtroopers.
From a vending machine, also.
Yeah, they come in
Well,
a little
Japan,
plastic
you get
ball.
everything.
You don't
In
get
Japan,
to
you
know
get
it,
everything from a vending machine, eh?
but you get them randomly. Then you don't know what.
Yeah, yeah.
Two places on the planet with the most robotic vending: Japan, South Korea. I want to go.
Hanjo Fett said, "Oh yeah, I remember Ultraman. There's a new Ultraman movie coming out. I saw a trailer for it.
I've asked you all before Ultraman versus Spectraman. I think you all picked Ultraman.
I picked Ultraman.
That's the movie I was thinking of. It's called Small Soldiers. Yeah, the Gorgonites.
Yeah, that's probably the one Baron was talking about. Toy Soldiers was about kids. Was that the one where it's a military school that's going to get closed down? So they basically barricade themselves in.
Well, if you're talking about Taps, it's not that one.
Taps. That's Taps. Yeah,
I've never
Taps
seen
is
Toy
that
Soldiers, so that also might be that. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about Small Soldiers with evil Tommy Lee Jones.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, that's okay. That's like CGI or something.
Yeah, we're geeking out a little too much for X Adam.
I
Talking about
found
bugs easily.
an auto-converting Optimus Prime for $25.
Did you say that other one was 100 or 1,000?
1,000.
Okay.
This one's 25.
That seems awfully low.
Because I've seen ones where they got like a rubber band or some kind of a twist up spring, and then they can go one way or the other, with tension or by pulling on whatever, and then it's just a bunch of pulleys.
It has no reviews.
Hancho saying Toy Soldiers was Sean Astin in a military boys' school that was hijacked.
That again, how often does that happen where military academy is hijacked by terrorists? It happens so often. I don't even talk about in the news. It happens so often anymore.
Ozzy Osbourne said all we had was little green army men. As I played with those also. My grandparents had a big, I think they were in a big bag. So when I'd go over there and then I'd play with them, and then you get older and you start shooting them with BB guns.
I immediately did that. Set the slingshot before I got the BB gun.
Well, giant sand pit, or like if they're putting in a sidewalk somewhere and they just pull a bunch of dirt around and they leave it somewhere in a neighborhood for a while, free dirt pile. So something like that, army men. And then I was going to say you get lady fingers, take them apart, and you got little tiny fireworks.
I had some big army men that were like 6 to 8 inch tall took them to school, and we were throwing them up in the air, and I hit a power line with it, and it melted its head.
What?
Nice.
Yeah, I had some of those. They were like just the larger versions
Yeah.
of the little guys. Yeah, they came in like a 2 or 3 pack or something like that. They were kind of, they were, obviously they were more expensive, but they were pretty cool.
Whenever I was still doing the YouTube show and tell for a living, I did I got about 3/4 of the way through a project where I did the research on all the little Green Army men because I was curious about them, and it's an interesting story if anybody's ever looked it up. It would be cool for somebody to do a documentary on, because the same way those Star Wars figures have an interesting story when you hear about it, those Army men were made in molds that got sold and sold and sold. So you know how sometimes those things look really cool and then sometimes they look really stupid and crappy? It's because they keep selling the molds to different people and they're like, it still works. Like kids are still buying it. We'll
So
just charge
like-
less or whatever.
Like Taurus.
Oh, snap.
Let me say hello to Jason J and Ting Ting.
What's up, man?
See, somehow there was always a POW camp under the refrigerator.
Yeah, it's because what happens is your cat or your dog beats the crap out of them.
It'd be interesting to go around and just ask people how they played with their Army men, because there's like so many different ways that people played with them, just to get an idea of the spectrum.
We had a works progress administration school building across the street from our apartment growing up, and we would make little parachutes from plastic bags and thread, and we didn't make harnesses. We just like wrap it around. We go up. It was 3 stories, and we ping, toss them off the top.
I think I was kind of torturous to my IG Joes. I would I would freeze them in a glass of water.
Was there any
G.I.
like,
Joe Antarctica edition or something, man? What was the
Well,
purpose
that
of freezing in water?
or that I would have I had one of the my brother's old action figures from GI Joes, the one of the arch nemesis from Cobra, and I would have like a pot of hot water or a bowl of hot water and have the dude toss the GI Joe into the freaking bowl or whatever when I was a kid. We did have a cat named Gizmo that was real funny because he would, just like underneath the stove, everybody was saying, I mean, this cat would beat the hell out of him. He'd just be like, get in there, get in there. No talking, no talking. Big old POW camp underneath the stove.
So I was going to ask if anybody's ever heard of a game to play where you use the Army men in some sort of actual system to play a game. And I went online and I found a couple of different places where they've effectively made like a role-playing game using the Army dudes as the characters, giving them, abilities, characteristics, and stuff you can roll for. And then there's I'm assuming these are the things you buy or things you just print out and then assemble, but essentially little town scenarios and cars and stuff.
Yeah, I've played a game with them. I played it with my nephew. It was called I Win, and he won every single time.
There's an interesting game that came out, and it's a couple of years old now, and I think you get little figurines, and in order to play them, you have to paint them before you can play them. And it's Warhammer 40K. It's actually rather interesting.
There's got to be a way that you could set up little buildings with your Army dudes and then have encampments or something where you have to set up your dudes in certain places or whatever. And maybe the strategy would be having them close together or not. and then pass a BB gun back and forth between people, or something like that, where everybody's shooting the same BB gun, or have something, or maybe just everybody has their own BB gun, but depending on circumstances. But yeah, everybody takes a shot at the other person's stuff, and that would be instead of rolling dice, you could just shoot BB guns, but instead of a dueling tree, I guess, use army men with BB gun.
Here's what I'm talking about when it comes to the Warhammer little figurines. Yes, I just want a screen share, please. Hey, come on.
Shooting the army men with a BB gun, that's pretty much what we would do, is just shoot at them as if they were tiny reaction targets.
Those nice little figurines there. And they come like in just a base gray, and you have to paint them. And the general rule is you have to paint them before you're allowed to play them in the game.
Is that Warhammer, you said?
Yep, Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, wasn't there like you'd go to a store that would sell games and shit, and they would have games and stuff in the front and in the back. They'd have all these tables, and there'd be like a big giant table set up with a grid for that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. As a matter of fact, I think this is red, or here. Yeah, here you go. This guy's got an army right here.
Seems more interesting than D&D to me, just because it's robots and battle suits and lasers and missiles and shit.
And it gets even more in depth than that. I could have swore I saw. Let's see here. There was a. Oh, here we go. That's the picture I was looking at. Let's see.
I think it'd be
here.
cool to play like a battle tech type of thing, but I think it'd probably be more fun with battle suits because you're only going to have so many mechs, I guess.
But they actually got like big old machines, and this guy paints all these, all these machines. These things take hours, if not days, to paint the big machines. These things, the little bigger guys, the figurines, the medium size, they take a good day or so.
Shooting them with BB guns, I'd rather use the green dude who don't cost nothing. Maybe you have like score points, like if you hit the radio guy, it's worth 0. But if you hit like the guy laying down with the bipod, that's the most because it's hardest to hit. Something like that. He's the most effective. He's got a gun.
Here's a question. What's the most expensive toy you ever shot with a BB gun?
Ooh.
Shot at with a BB gun?
Mm-hmm. Like Stretch Armstrong?
Yeah. I don't know if we ever shot him. Probably.
They're actually quite affordable, funnily enough. I remember looking them up on Amazon. You could get them pretty cheaply. That's why you see a lot of gun tubers shoot them, just because they could just buy them in bulk. Or maybe not in bulk, but they could buy them rather easily. I think Kentucky Ballistics has murdered a good baker's dozen of Stretch Armstrongs.
It wasn't terribly expensive, but I don't remember shooting any other toy. A remote control tethered Trans Am. It was supposed to be. That was like in the late '70s. The Smokey and the Bandit. It probably came from Radio Shack or something like that. I remember we were trying to shoot the windows out and stuff.
I don't remember shooting a toy, but I do remember shooting a pair of abandoned tires that I thought were abandoned out in a pair of sticker briars, and turns out they weren't. Because when I did, they kind of popped real loudly.
Oh shit, like bicycle tires or real tires?
No, like car tires. These are like car tires that someone had just jettisoned out. Because out here in Oregon, like when people don't want something, they just throw it down into a canyon for summer. And there'll be car tires, there'll be a TV, refrigerator, or whatnot. And I remember when I worked part-time for the roads department, we would have to go down into these canyons and pull the stuff out and bring it to the dump. But
that's the pioneer spirit, right? I don't want this piano anymore. I'm just going to leave it in the middle of the Oregon Trail.
But I remember being a kid and not knowing that what happens when you shoot a BB gun at the sidewall of an inflated tire. that's been inflated 30 psi over the maximum of what it's supposed to be, and I came running back after shooting it with my pellet gun because it made a big old boom. To me, it sounded like a cannon had gone off, and my mom thought like someone had shot a mortar or a deer rifle in the backyard.
So this was like a break action.
Yep, it was one of those pump action Crossmans, and I was shooting not the BBs, but the real, like the pointy tip pellets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a little bit more extra penetration to get through that sidewall, and it doesn't really help when when they've been sitting out there for a couple of days, so dry days, so they kind of got dried and aired out. I just didn't expect tires to violently explode like that.
I've been muted.
You muted yourself for this whole time, boss?
Yeah, because I coughed and I forgot that I was muted. I was showing this was the laser rifle trooper that I was talking about. This was the first G.I. Joe that I got.
There you go.
Have you been telling us to shut the fuck up for the last 5 minutes?
Well, as I was going to say, in high school, I went over at a friend's house, and we're shooting his 22 rifle. We put up phone books to shoot, and it went through the phone book. It was up against a shed, went through the shed, went through the other side of the shed, and then went through the truck canopy that was on the other side. Put a bunch of holes in the truck canopy.
One of my nieces became horrified when she learned that I like to fill my little ponies up with tannerite and shoot them with the 22.
My little pony blew up my pony.
I've never used tannerite.
It's a really interesting compound. Doesn't really respond well with electrical shocks, to my surprise. I would have thought something like that does.
Yeah, I've never used it either. I've never seen anybody use it in person. I've only seen videos.
It's more impact sensitive than it is like.
It's a good time. Does incredible stuff to old porcelain appliances or porcelain fixtures. Like the Granny's Toilet series that a friend of mine did. Like anytime there was a scrap toilet that somebody had left out, or they'd run by a couple of the places where people like kind of back roads, landfills, like you guys were talking, like Iron was talking about up there in Oregon. Well, we have this in Iowa and Nebraska too. And they'd set up they'd set up in different intervals. And at the time, Homeboy also was a cameraman for a local cable station. And so he was out there and he'd do like 6 different camera setups and do slow-mo and all that other jazz. It was pretty great. Tannerite's fun.
Holy crap, 25 pumps? Holy crap.
Yeah, goddamn Bacon said used to have one of those Pumpmaster 760s. You're only supposed to pump them 10 times at most. Highest I ever did was 25. Sent pellets right through metal.
That's a lot of compressed air. Just ready to launch something.
What happens if you keep pumping them?
Probably
They'll eventually break, I would assume.
Like they don't have a safety?
Seals got to give out.
Yeah, the seals that allow it to collect air and pressurize, eventually you're going to exceed the pressure rating, what they're rated for.
I was just wondering if they had like a blow off if you went above a certain PSI.
25 pumps seems right around that point at which you would expect one to go to.
Well,
but Bacon seemed to have got one to go farther.
The Crossman pump that I have that's modeled after, like I say, a Woodsman, that thing I saw most of the internals on when I had it rebuilt, and I'm trying to think if it had something like that, like you're questioning there, Baron. And the only thing that I remember that would have to make it through would be substantial at that, and it was a leather disc that was like you treated it, you like soaked it in oil, and that was like part of the final sealing system. So I'm not sure how that would work. something would have to like force itself to atmosphere at some point, maybe as a safety deal.
This is the one that I always wanted as a kid, the Arkansas can opener, because the velocity matched the 22.
Who's the manufacturer on that?
Daisy.
All right.
Unfortunately,
I think I saw the ad in the Sears catalog.
My grandpa used to send my my sister down the street after he had 40-acre pole bean farm, and there was a particular bird that he didn't like, and it was the European starling. It's an invasive species that the settlers brought when they came over to Europe. From Europe.
What? Go ahead. Sorry.
And what he would do is that he used to have her just pick them off out in the field, but then he got wise and put a bunch of Alka-Seltzer in some bread. And so when they went to fly up on the power lines, they couldn't throw it up, so they would just expand, and just kind of explode. And then he would send her to go shoot them off the power lines, so he wouldn't get complaints from the power company for doing it. Yeah.
It's crazy. The European starlings, originally they were released in Central Park.
Yeah.
And have moved across the country. In the 20s. They were released in Central Park in the 20s.
Oh, really? The 20s?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, they're all the way over here now, and they were annoying too. There's like packs of hundreds of them. I remember one time I opened up the barn door and it spooked a big old herd of them. And one time my uncle, he got paid by a farmer 10 cents a head to go out and kill them, and he went to go grab a shotgun. And if you can imagine how many birds he killed in one shell of 10 gauge shotgun, let's just say he got $5 out of one shell.
Yeah, we only around here. Most I've seen in our yard is like half a dozen of them at a time. So it's not bad. They're pretty. They're kind of sparkly, iridescent color on the black.
My stepdad's a bird watcher, and he doesn't think anyways. He thinks they're a crap bird.
It's probably different when you get the big flocks.
He prefers the the goldfinches, but his absolute favorite is flamingos. But his favorite, at least out here in the North America, is the greenback the greenback. There's a difference between swallows and
spits,
sparrows, or something like that. The one has a V cut in their tail, and the other ones have a flat tail, where it's more like a fan type.
Yeah, the swallows have the V cut.
And but he likes the greenbacks, and the greenback birds. They eat their weight in bugs, and he likes their acrobatics. And he's got at least 50 birds' nests set up, and we got a good old family of greenbacks out here. My mom's absolute favorite are the juncos, though. She called them snowbirds, and I always thought they were snowbirds.
Yeah, the dark-eyed juncos. They're pretty neat looking. And Sonny Guns is out there. He said explosions get a little too much attention out at the creek, so we don't mess with tannerite.
My favorite tannerite explosion was when Jerry Mitchell, at the end of a shooting montage, he shoots this lawnmower tractor. He just filled up the engine block with tannerite and made the whole thing explode with his 50.
Well, the old FPS Russia.
Yeah.
Who knows how he did not die many times.
Oh, God.
Where, you see like the refrigerator and the refrigerator door just misses him.
Yeah. I remember seeing something on the local news where some kid did that stuff with the tannerite and did it to a lawnmower, and he shot with a shotgun and almost killed himself because he was only 20 yards away, and he a piece of shrapnel came back and hit him.
So what you're saying, Foss, is the ATF probably saved FPS Russia's life when they took his guns away.
When they arrested him for drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And FPF Russia was I think he disappeared just before I started watching YouTube stuff. So I never, all the stuff is just stuff I've heard and seen, afterwards.
I still see some of his videos, like when he tested out some of that boutique ammunition, like the Dragon's Breath, shooting mannequins with their clothes on.
I would the Guns and Barbecue asks, is DM Foss an amateur ornithologist? I wouldn't quite say ornithologist, but I do enjoy watching the birds in the backyard. There's a really pretty swallow. It's I forget the name of it, but it's a blue. It's an iridescent kind of shiny blue. If you go outside and look up, they're way up in the 50 to 100 feet up, flying around catching bugs and stuff. But when you get to see them up close, they're a beautiful little bird. X Adam 1 said there was a gender reveal where Smart Dad filled a barrel with tannerite and was being sued by citizens for breaking windows in the area. People thought the city was under attack. Yeah, those gender reveal, they're a hazard. It's like the one where the forest fire was started.
Yeah,
reveal.
there was. Yep, I remember that.
When did this become a thing? Who the fuck cares what gender your kid is?
I don't know.
I say keep it as a surprise until the thing's ready to come out. But if anything, if you want to do one of these things, do what my buddies did, where they fill up one of those big elastic balloons with the whatever powder dust, and they use their bows to pop it. Don't use pyrotechnics or explosives.
So they're shooting arrows in the air?
No, they shoot them. They shoot the balloon, and they got a foam backstop behind to catch the arrow.
I don't know. It's not my thing. For us, it was, hey, we're having a kid. The kid was born. Hey, it's a boy.
Yep. That sounds normal.
Seems reasonable.
I don't want to. I don't want to blame all of them and say they're just, attention whores. But
I will. They're all attention whores. Fucking narcissist. No one cares about your kid's gender. Fuck off. Send me an email or a text.
Who cares when they could change it anyways? When
Guns and Barbecue said you may want to explain what an ornithologist is in case any commoners watch this late. Ornithologist is a birdologist.
Yeah, it's a 5-syllable word.
Yeah.
This is my
bird dude.
This is my dad's favorite. It's the violet
bird person.
They call it the violet greenback.
Yeah, we get I've got hummingbird feeders, so we'll get both the Rufus with his orange and the Annas, which is green, and it's really cool on the Annas because it'll be a dark color, and then when it catches the light, then it turns into, and once again iridescent, a shiny, kind of looks like sequin shiny green. Really neat.
The one that's most annoying, that's kind of like a step below the European starlings, is the barn swallows. That's the ones my dad hates too, because they just tear the crap out of barn interior and they make their mud nests in really inconvenient places.
They're cool to see, and I don't have a barn, so I don't have to worry about them. But when I've seen them, they're, it's neat to see basically it's spit and dirt. It's what they make their nests out of, and the little babies.
So you're not
No,
seeing any
that's-
kind of nests, but you are seeing them, and they are iridescent. It sounds like space titanium, probably government cameras.
Um, there's a I can't remember what site it is, but there's a article on birds aren't real.
Yeah, they're just
That
government
guy.
spy cameras.
Yep, goes through the history of what happened to the birds and
If
the
birds were
technology.
real, then why wouldn't there be pictures of birds in the cave paintings and in the original texts? You don't see any
So-
birds. Angels.
So that guy, I watched a short form documentary about the guy who started that. Total spoofing. He was totally shining everybody on. He just came up with it as an idea. It started like as like a say a street theater sort of thing. Actually went full time doing it. Got like a van, T-shirts with started websites and all this other stuff just to see how many people he could bring along to that idea. And so many people were following it and completely and totally butthurt when finally, after it had been going so long, that he did the reveal and just like, no, and did a walk away.
That's the article. The article I was referencing. He does kind of lay out in the beginning that it's a lark.
This is the bird that we have out that my stepdad has out at his house in Deer Island. They're really
Or even
pretty.
barn swallows. I'm kind of like, there are very few birds that I'm not going to be cool with. It's their space as much as it is mine, and aside from taking a few because they're like particularly tasty, I suppose a nuisance maybe, but yeah, birds are cool, man.
X Adam was asking, "Do you have a nice pair of binoculars?" I do have some field glasses. That I've got a small pair for super zoom when I want to see things very far away, but you only see a very small area. And then I've got the larger pair for stuff that's not quite as far away, but you get a better angle of view.
So for bird enthusiasts, you know how there's trail cams for people that are hunting or just like setting them out and looking at the wildlife photography you get from a trail cam. So is there something like that you can put in a tree that is a remote control, like a baby cam essentially, like something that has a zoom on it and can be in a tree and not freak out a bird? Be like a trail.
There are zoos and stuff like that have cameras set on like eagles' nests for 24 hours.
That kind of stuff for sure. But I mean, for like a regular bird person, is there something you can just stick up in a tree and
nothing marketed that way?
Oh, okay.
There's a crazy amount of that kind of stuff. One of my old roommates he's a bird. Well, actually, Foss, do you keep a bird diary for your sightings?
No, but I have sort of. I have pictures on I have a folder. So every time there's a new bird, I try and get a picture of it and add it to the folder. And I've got a book so I can identify what I looked at.
So like the Audubon book or a different one, and do you also use online resources for identification?
Yeah.
Okay. So like he goes out with one of his former professors who was like that's who he learned birding from, and they like have an insane amount of tech that they use these days for spotting birds, for identifying them, and for calling them in. And what he's been particularly enthusiastic about is finally a network, a website where people are doing like not only just pin drops, but all kinds of extra information and giving lat and longitude on stuff. And people will go and like park and take shifts in order to find ones that are seldom seen or never before seen, ones where they think they have like sightings kind of things going on. And he does. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I have. I don't remember what website it was, but I have listed some of the birds, that are collecting data like that. Yeah. And I don't go out to bird watch. I mainly focus on what I see in the yard. So it's local of local birds. If I'm out and see something interesting, then hey, that's interesting. But it's I more concentrate on what comes to the yard.
Soon we're going to be required to do that. It's going to be called the bird registry. We're all going to have to register the birds that we see. It's a federal law. That way they'll be able to track the bird diseases that might happen. Like, oh, I saw that bird. I did too on Thursday.
So we're at about an hour and a half, so I think we'll shut her down. Always leave them wanting more.
What?
Oh,
Oh, hey, wait. Hold on.
Back in my day.
GearWebsites.com for 2A related patches, stickers, playing cards, and a whole lot of other. GearWebsites.com. And so here's the here's the ticker.
the ticker that we didn't have all stream.
So if you want to email me, the untacticalfoss@gmail.com, or the link that'll get you somewhere to contact me, or join the Gilded server. You can always get a hold of me there. So if you need to see that, just replay that. So
Yes, please join the Gilded server. We're feeling kind of lonely over there.
and there's a link in the description for the Gilded server. Place to hang out, share memes, chit chat, talk about whatever.
Charger needs a date.
For example, yes, he does. I posted a deal for the PSA 5.7. What's that thing called?
I think they call it the PSA. Is it the
The
Dagger?
Rock.
Oh, the Baby Rock.
No, PSA
ripoff?
5.7 Rock. For $5.99 with 10 mags in a bag. Today. I don't know if it's still live, but the link is in the server. Hell of a deal.
Heck of a deal, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, there was something else in the server that I don't remember what I was going to mention. So
That's 6.8 pound AR-10.
So, yeah. G-Webs. You want to plug anything?
Thanks for the link and for hosting each week. I heard that the Sunday shows are going to be lit.
Well, we'll burn it to the ground. Iron Road? Make
Yes.
some videos?
Trying to.
You want to plug anything?
Yeah. Make sure to vote no on Oregon ballot measure 114 unless you want more gun control. Then by all means, vote yes. But please don't vote yes. I also downloaded and put the PDF file in the gun rights channel on the Gilded server for your pleasure, and you can also find it at Ballotpedia. You can normally find it. It's generally the first link on Google's web search when you look up Oregon ballot measure 114, and it's you ask Foss or anyone else like myself who's read it. It's just full of draconian, unconstitutional stuff, and it's very likely that it's 50% chance likely that it might pass with voter support, but it's also very likely that it probably will get struck down in the courts. So here's to hoping for that. Other than that, try to keep in the time ring, keep practicing, even though ammunition's on a tight string. You can always dry fire practice, so remember that.
And X Adam 1 was asking what's the latest on your AR build. So I should get the trigger in tomorrow, I think, looking at the shipping. tracking. Looks like it'll come in tomorrow. All we have left to get is I need to get bolt carrier group and a gas block, and I'll put up a poll when I get to it. A new poll for optics. What kind of optics? Iron sights or red dot or scope. And then I think the last poll will be about the finish, whether to keep it black, rattle can paint, or hydro dip. I won't Cerakote it just because I don't want to spend that much money on Cerakoting. But so it's getting there. That's kind of where we're at on the rifle. And he's asking the barrel length. It's 16-inch. I picked up. Everybody voted for 16-inch. Well, the majority voted for 16-inch, and I picked up Bear Creek Arsenal stainless steel barrel. DJ.
Yeah.
Go ahead and plug what you want to plug. Lay it down. Lay down some funky tracks.
I actually, what popped in my head was Rat, Lay It Down. So I'm going to go with that, the 80s metal thing going on. So Cam, sharing real quick with what a little effort can get you. Posted in the text chat out there the contact information for the Capitol Switchboard. Go ahead and get a hold of your senators. You can get a hold of anybody out there who represents you and let them know what you think and what you'd like them to do as your representatives. You can also call other state senators to do the same. So when we have legislation that we're looking down at and we want to do something, that's one of the ways to get it done. You get fancy little prizes like that, auto-signed letters and the like. I'm also going to drop a link out there to Brooke Cheney's Great Start Shooting School channel on Saturdays. Please check out her suicide awareness program. It is an awareness month for that. Also, I hear tell that Guns and Barbecue is out there in the crowd, and changes are apparently afoot over on that channel. Stay tuned and stick around to see what comes next. Until I see you all again, be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and rock. Thanks, boss.
Baron, anything you want to plug?
There was one poll we did not mention. And by a landslide, they want us to do a bracket at least once a month.
I understand, and I have taken that into consideration, but I fear that once a month is too much. It's easy to get burned out on doing the polls.
I completely agree, which is why I'm not asking you to. I think Guns and Barbecue should start doing a weekly bracket show.
Ooh.
I like it.
I'm down.
I might even
that.
have some pull. I might have some pull with G&B on that one.
That would make a very good segment for a weekly number of shows. I don't know how many he wants to do, but
I don't have an opinion on the bracket part of it, but I like how y'all are bossing barbecue around in the middle of the night like this, making him do shit. So that's I'm down with it. It's like mansplaining with consequences.
But so we will do some brackets in the future because people want brackets. I just don't want to do it too often. X Adams saying, do a video on your top 5 guns, as in guns you own and are your favorites. I'll think about it. Personally, I hate top 5, top 10 videos.
What about I thought we were talking about poll. What about a poll on how many guns you own? I'm going to do that poll right now.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Gilded server. Have them submit the brackets they want us to do. Then we have no homework. All we got to do is pick one or two and go through the bracket.
That would be great.
So if you want us to do brackets, join the Gilded, start submitting them, and I'll do what I can. I'm going to keep pushing him.
it that accomplishes two things. One, it lets me know what people, what brackets people are interested in, and two, lessens the amount of thinking I have to do, which is good. Other than that, there's no weekend show this weekend, no overnight this weekend. It'll be the weekend after.
Oh,
So I don't even. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong month even. So,
oops.
what's today?
Today's the 14th.
14th. So the 24th will be the next overnight.
We are open to submissions.
Other than that, I hope everybody has a good night and good rest of the week. I'm thinking there's something I wanted to mention, but I don't remember.
I'd like to plug the diversity shoot that's going to be happening tonight in Heritage Guild, or at the Heritage Guild in Easton, Pennsylvania.
And that's put on by Tony Simon and the 2A for Everyone. Oh,
Barbecue will take it under advisement. I think it's a good idea. They're a lot of fun.
they are fun.
You get
And if you can get people to submit the brackets for you, even better.
There you go.
So that being said, everybody have a good night. Whoop, right, wrong one there.